This is Kilowatt 4 Whiskey Zulu Victor Robert with the TGIF net. Tonight I have a special guest for the net. His name is Ryan, WA6 Hotel X-Ray Golf. You guys haven't heard of Ryan there, a very nice guy. And he is really into the coding of the Nexian screens. He's got some really good layouts and stuff and all that. Very knowledgeable about the Nexian screen. So if you're playing with the Nexian screen and want to know a little bit more about it, he's the man. And he's more than willing to help anybody, he stated to me. So I'm sure he'll go all over that when he hits the podium. But Nexian screens are a really cool thing. I haven't had the privilege to play with any of those yet, but that is on my list. They're really cool. A lot of things you can do with them to personalize them. So that's really cool. All right. And then we'll get right to Ryan there, and I'll take a group of questions there, and we'll do them one at a time so everything's nice and organized there. So it should work out real nice. So if you got anything on Nexian that you want to ask, write it down and get ready there, because tonight would be a great night to get those questions answered. Let me pass the microphone over to Ryan, and he could tell you a little bit about himself and what he's doing, and then he could pass it back to me, and we'll start taking questions. So go ahead, Ryan, and thank you so much for being a guest on tonight's net. We really appreciate it. And the TGIF podium is now yours, sir. Go right ahead.
Hey, sounds good, Robert. Let me start by thanking you for what you do. This TGIF group is really pretty incredible. Stumbled onto it, and I really thank you for what you're doing for the whole group. It's pretty awesome. My name is Ryan. I am operator from Huntington Beach, California. First in 2004 is KI68KX. I quickly dropped that call and acquired my grandfather's call sign, just WA6HXG. Went on to get my general in 2011. Been involved in ham radio. From HF to 1.2 and antenna building, SDR building. A lot of work with the repeaters, some commercial work with my friends. APRS package. But the last 2 years I've been involved in digital operations, DMR, YSF, P25. I'll go on like a DV4 mini, open spot, single spot, check out double spot. Current favorites, the duplex, MMDVM board. But I've been in the field of IT since '98, so computers aren't new. And let me break here for a second. Okay, I got it. Yeah, in the last 6 months, I've been designing layouts for Nexian brand screens. Basically, they connect to many brands of hotspots. The screens allow you to see a large amount of information about the hotspot, its status, configuration, at a glance. Really valuable addition to hotspots and digital operation. They're available in many sizes from 2.4 to 7 inch. Most operators are using 2.8 to 3.5 sizes typically. That's where most of the layouts are being built for them. I've designed quite a few layouts, quite a few versions. I have a GitHub page that's available. I'll shoot you guys that here in a minute. Basically, there you can find everything you need, instructions from buying them, which model numbers exactly that are functional, and how to set them up, how to program the files onto the screens, how to make some basic editing to the files and personalizing and things like that. And I'll get that. Actually, I just sent that address over to the TGIF Facebook, but I'll reiterate it here in a minute. I'm going to break again here. Alright, there's also Facebook groups available for this kind of thing. If you just go into Facebook and search for Nexion, which is Netion, and then maybe MMDVM, or just look for Nexion, look for something ham related. Anywhere, both the screens for the Nexions basically. just kind of come blank. They don't have anything on them, so you need to get layouts and some backcode done to make them operate. Anyways, I'm working on a new one now that before we just had displays. Now we're going to take advantage of the touchscreen features of the screens. Stuff we're displaying more information from the Pi-Star installs, which is like and CPU load, things like that. A lot more than previous designs allowed. And taking it into touchscreen operations. So now we can send info back to the Pi-Star and also the Linux to do have set up right now, or update and upgrade. I can update the firmware from the screen. All available thanks to the help of On7 LDS. His name is Leuven from Belgium, and a little bit of help from Ty. Anyways, I'm actively working with Leuven, and I just spoke with him today, and he's got a version of this Nextion driver, which adds more capabilities to the Nextion display connected to Pi-Star. It's a much more powerful system for screens, but break, almost done. If you'd like further info on the screen, getting set up, go to my GitHub page. GitHub is spelled GITHUB, and just Google search GitHub plus my call sign, which is Whiskey Alpha 6 Hotel X-Ray Golf. You'll find a README file, an instruction file, and then some info pages in there too to get you. They'll explain everything from how to get them installed, how to buy, where to get the screens, what model numbers, etc., etc. And how to get going, even do some basic editing, which is really cool. So, with that, I take it on back to Robert. Yes, Scott, good to hear you. Actually, let's see if I got it here. Yes, I do. Okay. I actually detail that in the instructions file on my GitHub page because people are actually having a problem with that. Amazon, people tend to put names to things, just kind of add their own name and then put Nextion on there. Nextion is it. Basically, where people are running into trouble is there's Chinese market screens and there's United States market screens. The Chinese ones have a prefix on the model number of TJC, and that's what you want to stay away from. The U.S. marketed, I believe they start with an NK or an NX. You have to look at my instructions page. That'd be the best, for the instructions file on my GitHub. That'd be the best. I've listed on there all the model numbers for the different sizes. And there's also, so basically there's U.S. marketed, there's Chinese marketed. If you don't want the Chinese marketed, they're not editable unless you want to use a Chinese editor, which is the, anyways, Chinese language editor. I detail all the model numbers on there. There's also, past that, there's two types of screens. There's a basic and an enhanced, and the enhanced has more memory for layout storage and some other features we don't use so much. But the main thing is it has some more flash ROM memory in the enhanced screen. So when layouts are going to, in time I think layouts are going to get more advanced. I've seen some that show a flag when a user keys up that shows what country he's from. So these layouts, mine are under 3 megabytes currently, and the basic screens go up to about 4 megabytes. The enhanced go up to about 16, I think maybe some higher. But so if you want to kind of future-proof your setup, you're probably looking at an enhanced screen would be your best bet. I think they run about $5, a couple for $5 more, not a whole lot more. So look for enhanced, and then again, I think the prefix is NK or NX, and again, I detail that on my GitHub in the instructions file. So, and it'll show you what model number for what size, so just go ahead and match that model number up when you're looking for it, and you're guaranteed to get the right one. Personally, I pick them up on eBay, and you can get them with acrylic sandwich screen if you want, or if you're just going to mount it in your own case or something like that, you can get them by themselves. But yeah, hope that answers Hope that answers your question, Scott.
Okay, 6AGL. Excellent information, Ryan. Thank you so much. I will definitely consult your information and take a look. It's rather overwhelming for a noob in this particular format here. Okay, I'll sign off and listen, which is actually better than talking for somebody with my knowledge level. So thank you, gentlemen. K6AGL, back to net.
Yeah, K4WZV. Yeah, excellent question there. And there's a lot of guys that are out there that probably have never messed with the screens like me. And Ryan's done an excellent job of. I haven't had a chance to completely read through his website, but it looks like somebody that's never looked at one before could go there and follow the directions all the way from the very start of it to buying one. To get it all set up. And plus, there's a lot of resources available. And, Ryan always said that he would help anybody, if you have any trouble, get it up there. So that's always a good thing. All right, thanks, gentlemen. All right, now we AE8 GAS. Go ahead, Eugene. You can go direct with Ryan.
So another thing that I wanted to kind of find out is what would be the preferred screen size with, for utilization of a touchscreen panel, because like a 2.4 screen is pretty small, and and depending, I guess, on how many buttons or touch fields that are going to be available, what screen size would you recommend? Back to Ryan, KEATAS.
Sounds good. Yeah, anybody in my call sign at gmail.com, you guys are welcome to contact me and with questions or if you need help on it, no problem. And if I'm overwhelmed, just give me a little time to reply. That's all. Yeah, I think it's in the beginning, KEATAS. We spoke before, good to hear you. Let's see. And I have too much going on. The question of the screen size. Okay, so my layouts aren't the only ones available. There is others available. If you Google and dig through Facebook and whatnot, you'll find some. I just, being graphic designer, I've thrown a lot of visual items, so that's kind of where my strong point is, being graphic designer. There is, if you go with 32s, 35s, you're going to find more layouts are available. So, most guys are developing for like 2.8 to 5 inch layout-wise. Myself, right now, I'm doing 2.8, 3.2, and 3.5s. And the first ones I do are 3.2s, followed by the 2.8s, and then the layout size of the 3.5. They take a lot of time, honestly. I know people say, "Oh, that'd take me forever," but yeah, they literally. To resize one takes me like 8 to 10 hours. Once I get one size dialed in. So, but the majority be 2.8 to 3.5. My favorite, honestly, is, even though I'm using a 3.2 mostly, my favorite would be the 2.8 and the 3.5. They have the highest pixel density. Each screen has a different resolution. That's why they have to be built separately or resized, basically. And not just the graphics resized, like every, these fields and everything you get resized, fonts, etc. So I would say 2.8 to 3.5. Myself, I do it 3.2, but if I had my choice, I would probably say 3.5s. If you want a bigger screen and you got bigger fingers, maybe a 5, but you're going to find less layouts are available for 5 inch. And just being that I just do it for kicks, I haven't bought larger screens. And if I spend time, I'm sure I can design them for the 5 inch. That's possible. But, yeah, my personal favorite is the 3.5. But if you want to stay on the edge of what I'm doing, I develop for some of 3.2. It's really up to you. And yeah, the buttons I've tried to keep it rather large. I've set up multiple pages on like I have some system tools pages, and I've just kind of spread them out to 2 pages to make sure the buttons don't get too small. So yeah, it just kind of depends on the application. You can have it, in, is it in the house on the desk? Is it in the vehicle? Stuff like that. So you kind of consider it that way.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. Yeah, it's awesome info. This is actually pretty cool that these new options are coming out with the touchscreen and stuff. I kind of gave up on the next gen projects mainly because of the the functionality was actually lacking from the Pi-Star itself. But now I'm gonna have a blast working with the new designs, and I'll definitely check out your webpage on a GitHub and see what's going on. Well, thanks so much for answering these questions, and I'll turn it over to Robert, Net Control, Kilo, Equate Delta Alpha Sierra. I'll be listening.
Alrighty, very good question and great information there. Thank you guys. And we'll take 3 more blocks or 3 more questions here. But first, let's see if we have any late stragglers or anybody. Okay, very good. We got everybody checked in. All right, let's get into some more questions there. We got a block of 3 here. Anybody else have any questions on the Nexian screens? Please come now.
WV2KWC.
Okay, we got WV2KWC. Got you down for a question. Do we have anybody else that has a question for Ryan? So let's go to WV2KWC. Go ahead, sir. Take it one-on-one with Ryan. Did we lose you there, Ken? WV2KWC. Go ahead, sir. Go one-on-one with Ryan. We must have lost Ken there. Maybe he'll come back in there. All right. Does anybody else have any questions they would like to ask Ryan? I'll tell you what. I got a question for Ryan. Ryan, do you think it might ever come out you would have full control of, say, the Pi-Star through the Nexian screen instead of having to bring that up on a dashboard? Is that a possibility? Over.
Robert, was I in there? This is WB2KWC.
WB2KWC. I gave it to you, but we did not hear you transmit back. So I'll go ahead and give it to you there, and then I had a question also for Ryan. But go ahead, Ken. Go one-on-one with Ryan now. Hopefully you'll come through.
Okay, thank you, Robert. Ryan, I was looking through your GitHub page, and there's an awful lot of information that you can get off of the Pi-Star into the Nexian. I'm wondering if you've ever exported any of this information to another, I guess, another receiver other than the Nexian screen, either via IP or Bluetooth, or I don't know how to put it in the syslog. I'm just curious. This is WB2KWC.
Well, look, no, I have not. I've not developed them for anything else other than in MNDB on Pi-Star. I do see people using them for either their homebrew setups. I think there's a gentleman that has a homemade amp that he's selling that he's made quite a nice Nexion display for, and it's touchscreen as well. Yeah, basically they're a TTL level serial connection. They run on 5 volts, so you got a 5 volt ground, a TX and an RX, and then it's just a two-way communication. There's a protocol to it. The Nexion Nexion has kind of a C type of code, and then if you actually think in my info there's a PDF about designing the Nexion editor. There's an Nexion editor program that makes a layout. Let me bring. If you get into or you Google into Nexion screens, you'll find out quite a bit more of the commands, how they operate, and things like that. So, you're welcome to get into it. You could definitely design them to communicate with all kinds of things. But again, the interface is TTL serial, so it has to be set up in that way.
Okay, thank you. I'll have to take a look into some serial port programming and see what I can do. Or actually, it'll be USB to serial program. Thank you very much. K4WZB, WB2 KWZ.
I was going to ask Ryan myself, because I know they did this back in the DV4 Mini days. They had some images out there where you could actually pull up the control panels for the DV4 Minis and control everything via touchscreen, changing reflectors and talk groups and all that. Do you foresee anything like that happening, Ryan, with the Nexions?
Yeah, Robert, let me finish off with the last one. Actually, I think with an Arduino, and poking around the radio, it'd be just a matter of code work. With an Arduino and an Nexion, you could do all kinds of cool stuff just on the radio. But as for your question, Robert, I don't see there's limitations, and the ones I'm seeing are being able to say text or text input back. Kind of there's limitations to the screen. So I could program the buttons with strings that will go back to the Linux system and tell it to do things. And even I can have the first line of the command line come back to the Nexion screen and be displayed. But I think the problem there is being able to type things in. I got the limitation there that I run into. So yeah, I considered putting talk group buttons on there and some other things. I'm actually starting to get into the Grandmeister API expertise. That helped me out a little bit there. But everything else, the two-way interface, we got set real nice. It's the Grandmeister API that I'm working with right now. So, but yeah, I think the limitation there, Robert, is really the input, being able to type things in. So I kind of got some limitations there. And that'd be a lot of screens, it'd be an immense amount of programming to get everything that the PyStar, interface is able to do. It's more for convenience. It's more for, at a glance, seeing the last 5 guys to call, what talk group they're on, etc. And now actually we've added looking up the call signs. We got the stripped CSV file and also the talk group file in there. So instead of looking at talk group numbers, it's got names, and it's also looking up call signs and giving their name and information like the MD380 custom firmware does. So pretty cool. Yeah, but yeah, I run into limitations when it comes to character input and stuff like that. So I don't see it as being a total takeover of the interface, just more of a supplement.
Yeah, roger that. Yeah, great information. Yeah, I can see a few things being added on here, but there's a lot of different stuff in PyStar. But yeah, it'd be kind of neat to have like a group of your stuff like that would be really cool. But okay, yeah, thanks for everything you're doing, Ryan, and if you're ever bored, you said it would take quite a bit of code, and I can understand that. That's many hours of doing this stuff. A lot of folks don't realize that sit down in 10 minutes and whip this stuff out there. It does take a lot of work. We'll go one more round for questions, and then I could pass it to Brian for any closing things that he might like to add. So if you have any questions, now's your chance to take the... I've seen a VE3IGN with a couple key-ups. Did you have a question for Ryan, or were you just keying into the talk group?
Oh, sorry about that, Robert. Good day, Ryan. Well done on the guest host for the net here and answering a lot of questions. I guess I got one. I'm not sure. But anyways, I picked up one of those screens here. It's a 2.8. I'm going to use it on my my MMDV little hotspot board. I've noticed on a lot of pictures out there, do they make a nice little case for those screens? Like you do, because I know some people modified them, boxes, plastic boxes, or they 3D them, 3D print them. But I haven't been to the website yet. I just picked one up on eBay or Amazon, sorry. But do they make some really nice cases for those things? Go ahead.
Yeah, they do up to, I think, about from a 2.8 to a 3.5 size. The 7-inch are available with or without a bezel, actually. If you check eBay, for acrylic case and then Nexion, I think you'll find what you're looking for. It's kind of a sandwich. It's kind of like got a back plane and a solid piece, and then a front that goes around the screen to protect it. And it's got 4 screws on the corners. I'm sorry, to hold it together. It's kind of a sandwich case, but it does protect the screen if you've got it loose install. I prefer to use those, and then I put a big piece of heavy-duty Velcro in the bag, and then I stick it, if I go in the vehicle, I stick it on the dash. And then in the house, I just kind of prop it up or use a plastic stand with Velcro on it as well. So, your call. Another thing I did recently, I've added, but yeah, eBay, just search for acrylic and then Nexion, and you'll find what I was doing. I haven't seen much else. And another thing, being that the screens are TTL serial, I've added these, I don't know if you've seen them, HC. I'm personally using HC05. It's HC minus 05. It's just a Bluetooth serial adapter. So basically the screen is wireless other than power. Just kind of neat. Sometimes you want to put the hotspot somewhere where propagation is better and not have the screen hardwired, a couple inches away from it. So that's kind of a cool option. They're really easy to set up. So that's an option too. Yeah, like I said, no, that's the only one I've seen. On eBay, acrylic, and then the next on case, and you'll find what I'm talking about. And if not, drop me an email, Whiskey Alpha 6 Hotel X-ray Golf at Gmail. I'll be happy to send you a link.
Yeah, okay, Ryan, thanks a lot. Good information there, and thanks for coming on to the net here and sharing all this wealth of information. Everybody out there listening. Anyways, well done, and you have yourself a nice evening there. Thanks, and we'll check on those websites. Now we'll just turn it over to Robert. Let me see what his call sign is. I forget. K4WZVV, 3IGN at control will take it. Go ahead, Robert. Thanks a lot, Ryan. Sorry, it's real.
Yeah, okay, very good. Yeah, great question there, and I was wondering that myself, and I've seen some on eBay too. I think the Chinese make some where they got a place to mount the screen and your Raspberry Pi and all that inside a plastic case. It didn't look real elaborate though, or anything really fancy and stuff, but at least it's a nice little box to get everything together. I think it even came out eBay. They're going to come out. They usually do. There is fresh.
Yeah, Robert, you kind of broke up there. I don't know if anybody else copied. The last thing I have is, if anybody has any ideas for commands to send back to the Linux install or the PyStar that they'd like to see it put in the buttons to just click them and have them done. I've already got update, upgrade, firmware upgrade, some other things that are working well. Anybody got any ideas on commands they'd like to see sent back? Let me know on either Facebook or email or if you want to do it, I'll do my best to get them integrated. Also, if anybody is interested in developing it on their own, I'd be glad to send them whatever resources I've found. And again, if anybody needs some help with getting the screens, either anything from purchase to operating, I'll be glad to help with any of those steps. Again, my call sign at Gmail. And glad I could be a part of the net. And I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. WA6HXG.
Yeah, very good, very good. Well, thank you so much, Brian. We really appreciate you spending some time with us here. And you're always, welcome on the TGIF group, of course. And we really appreciate you joining us and being our guest on the TGIF net. Great information tonight was put out there. And I'll pass it over to you one more time if you had anything else that you might want to add, and then we'll go ahead and close the net. Did you have anything else that you would like to add, and we'll end the net?
No, that's it. Any ideas for improvement? You guys go ahead and shoot them out. I'll monitor the TGIF Facebook, and if there's anything I can do for you guys, I'd be glad to. Just a pleasure to be a part of the TGIF group, and thanks again, Robert, for doing this. It's a great resource for all of us, and I appreciate it, mate. And I'll talk to you guys soon. I'm on TGIF quite often, so you guys are welcome to join me on here as well. 7:30 the group, WA6 HXG. Take care, guys.
All right, very good. And thanks so much, Ryan, once again there. We appreciate you joining us tonight on the net. All right, that's my Hivecom warning. My battery's low. All right, everybody. At this 319 was it the net would, if it wasn't for you guys, the net wouldn't be possible. So we really appreciate everybody checking in from the bottom of our hearts, and we thank you so much for your support. And we'd also like to thank Brandmeister and everything they do to keep the system up and running. Admins are always working in the background to make our hobby more enjoyable. It's always nice when you key up the radio and it works great. So remember, it takes a lot of work to make that happen all the time. So if you ever hear those guys out there, say thank you. And there's also a couple other stations I'd like to thank. I'd like to thank Corey at 3FE for all he does. He's an admin Brandmeister. Alec N1AJW for all he does. He hosts the NXDN reflector and the YSF reflector. Does a real good job with that. And N4IRR and N4IRS. They did a lot of the coding and stuff for the P20 and stuff like that. That works on the talk group so well. So appreciate everything they've done. All right. This is Kilowatt 4 Whiskey Zulu Victor. The net is now closed, and the TGIF 31665 group is now returned to regular amateur radio use. 7-3 everyone, and once again, thank God it's Friday.